The Tale of the Evil Pig. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village nestled between lush green hills, there lived a pig named Percy. Unlike the other pigs, who were known for their playful nature and friendly demeanor, Percy was different. He had a dark, mischievous glint in his eye and an insatiable appetite for chaos. Percy resided in a small pen at the edge of the village, where he was often overlooked by the villagers. They were too busy tending to their farms, raising their livestock, and celebrating the simple joys of life to pay much attention to the solitary pig. But Percy was not content with being ignored. He wanted to be the center of attention, even if it meant becoming the villain in his own story. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, Percy hatched a wicked plan. He decided to sneak into the village and wreak havoc during the annual harvest festival, a time when everyone gathered to celebrate the bountiful crops and enjoy each other's company. As night fell, Percy squeezed through a gap in his pen and made his way toward the village square. The air was filled with laughter, music, and the delicious aroma of roasted corn and sweet pies. The villagers were dancing and celebrating, completely unaware of the mischief that was about to unfold. Percy began his reign of terror by knocking over tables laden with food. Pies went flying, drinks spilled everywhere, and startled villagers cried out in surprise. With each chaotic act, Percy reveled in the pandemonium he had created. He snorted with glee as he watched the villagers scramble to salvage their festival. But Percy wasn't done yet. He spotted a group of children playing a game near the fountain. With a quick dash, he charged towards them, sending them running in all directions. The laughter turned to screams as they scattered, terrified of the rampaging pig. Percy felt powerful. He had finally become the center of attention. As he continued his rampage, Percy stumbled upon the village's prized possession, a giant pumpkin that had been grown for months by Old Man Jenkins, the village's most esteemed farmer. The pumpkin was said to bring good fortune to whoever possessed it during the harvest season. Seeing it as the ultimate target for his mischief, Percy charged at it with all his might. With a loud thud, the pumpkin shattered into 1,000 pieces. The villagers gasped in horror as they watched their beloved pumpkin splatter across the ground. The laughter and joy of the festival quickly turned into anger and despair. They banded together, determined to capture the evil pig that had ruined their celebration. Percy, sensing the change in atmosphere, tried to make a quick escape. But as he darted through the village square, he slipped on the remnants of the pumpkin and tumbled head over hooves into a muddy puddle. Covered in mud and pumpkin guts, he looked utterly ridiculous. The villagers, witnessing this comical sight, couldn't help but burst into laughter despite their initial anger. They gathered around Percy, who was now more amusing than menacing. Old Man Jenkins stepped forward, shaking his head with a chuckle. "Look at this poor pig," he said, wiping tears of laughter from his eyes. "He may have tried to ruin our festival, but now he's just a muddy mess." Realizing that they could either continue to be angry or turn this moment into something joyful, the villagers decided to embrace Percy's antics. They picked him up from the puddle and carried him around the village square, cheering and laughing together. Percy felt a strange warmth in his heart as he realized he was no longer an outsider. He was part of something bigger. From that day on, Percy became an unlikely hero of sorts. The villagers decided to include him in their festivities every year. They would dress him up in silly costumes and let him join in on the fun. Instead of being known as the evil pig, he became known as Percy the Playful Pig, who always brought laughter and joy to their harvest festival. And so, Percy learned that sometimes being the center of attention doesn't require chaos. It can come from simply being part of a community that embraces you for who you are, muddy messes and all. As the years went by, Percy transformed from an evil pig into a beloved member of the village family. He may have started with mischief in his heart, but he ended up finding joy in friendship and laughter instead. And thus, in that little village nestled between lush green hills, Percy lived happily ever after, no longer evil, but forever playful. The end.